Have you guys ever read a story that the first time you read it, you think, "Wow, this is incredible. This is amazing," and then you go back and you reread parts of it, and you realize it wasn't just amazing, but it was really, really, truly amazing. Like it confirms everything that you thought about that story. That's how I felt rereading Kagurabachi. What's up, guys? It's your friendly neighborhood YouTuber here. I am here to talk to you guys again about Kagurabachi. I did do a few videos on it. I don't remember how many videos exactly I did do on it, where I talked about the series when it first came out, when it first dropped, and a little bit into the story, just a teensy weensy little bit. That first arc, I talked a little bit about it. I wanted to wait, as I normally do for a lot of stories, until volumes come out, because that's generally how I start reading them, is through volumes. If you don't know, I mention this all the time with the Absolute Batman, same thing. Just wait for the volumes to come out, and I've been catching up, if not, rereading Kagurabaki after the volumes had come out, because I was already ahead of the volume schedule, because I was reading it on my phone with the Shonen Jump app, and I stopped myself at a certain point, and it's in the second arc with the Kamunabi arc. I don't necessarily remember if that was the name of the arc, but it's basically where Chihiro has to retrieve, well, one of the enchanted blades from the auction that was going on. But I'm not here to talk about that one. I want to talk about today something that just confirmed in me how incredible this manga series really is, and it's a battle for the ages that I cannot wait until it is animated. When this story gets animated, I just know that this fight is going to feed the whole fan base for a minute, and that's obviously talking about Chihiro and Choso. Now, there's so much I could say about this fight. There's so many elements to it. There's so many things about it that make it so special. But I think one of the biggest things is the ramification of it, and the amplification of Chihiro's character going into that fight, as well as Choso's character. Now, I know we don't get much of Choso as much as we do Chihiro, because Chihiro is obviously the main character. But Choso, they make it seem like he's this ominous figure, to be feared, because he almost is seen as the main villain that we think is part of one of the main, like, antagonist groups. And obviously it's post fight where we realize that Chihiro's up to, or has to face, something far bigger than Choso. But what we see with Chihiro and Choso's fight is something of immense magnitude, of some magical like essence of their blades, because throughout this series leading up to that fight, you see obviously Chihiro grow with the N10. You see him obviously start to learn more about his blade, and it's almost similar to what I think of when I think of Bleach and their Bonkai, and their relationship they have with their blades, honestly, because every single blade, if you don't know the name properly of your blade in Bleach, then you don't know how to wield it. And with Kagurabaki, it's a very similar thing, because obviously you see Chihiro, it almost feels like he's constantly talking to his blade and saying like, "Oh, I failed you here. I didn't do this correctly. I will improve on this, that, and the third." Just little slight things like this and that. And then seeing that contradicting the way that Choso treats the Cloud Gouger is very interesting, because Choso is also in his own character development that leads up with Chihiro until they meet up into their obvious respective fight. And one of the things is Choso wants to talk about Chihiro's dad. This is what also makes their dynamic really interesting, is because of the way that Choso views Chihiro's father. And obviously Chihiro keeps it to the chest. He doesn't tell him anything until the very later end, where Choso finds out that Chihiro, that's his son. And he's trying to let him know, like, hey, you don't understand your own father. This is what he means. And he has his own version of how to deal with with an enchanted blade and wielding it. And seeing their different philosophies collide on top of them just fighting each other was honestly very, very deeply interesting to me, because it brings into conversation that relationship with the blade, and that almost samurai feeling of that essence of a warrior. And it's really cool to see them, counteract each other in that sense. On top of that, the fight's just really well written and well illustrated. I mean, the artist Takeru Hokazono is really at an immense peak here when it comes to visual sequential storytelling, because of the way that he structures this fight. Obviously, you see Choso completely batter a group of people that had a whole blueprint on how to beat him based on their Chihiro and Choso's first interaction, which, by the way, they meet up not once, not twice, but a few times. Choso and Chihiro are clashing against each other. It's just the final fight. That's the culmination of all of that. All of those meetings of having those contradictions, and then finally understanding each other in a sort of like very, like I said, sort of samurai way, like a very spiritual sense, in a very deeper, like it's almost like with them fighting each other, they really understood each other in that sense. Chihiro understood further what Choso's really meant with everything that he believed, and Choso, for what it was, respected Chihiro for the way that he wielded his sword, his katana. So it was the enten. So it was interesting to see them sort of almost like not verbalize it, but also but just internalize that similarity that they had in each other's respect. The one thing that made this fight, though, to the top to me, like just incredible, was again the way that it was structured in the manga. With the timing of it, you could just feel the speed at which these two are fighting each other, because it shows you the time that it's taking between each panel. So it almost feels like you get a clash, time, clash, time, clash, and you're just like at the edge of your seat, because you're thinking, when is this? What is going to happen at the end of this? And on top of that, like Takeru is really, really well. For somebody that's had low, I want to say, experience from what I'm aware of with manga, he kills it when it comes to double page spreads and just action set pieces in the manga. And Choso and Chihiro was almost felt like he was like leading up to this moment, and he let it all out to be like, yeah, this is my manga. This is what I offer with Kagurabachi, and this is what we're doing. This is what I got to give y'all, because it definitely felt like a full showcase for his capabilities as a mangaka, and I absolutely loved it. What's crazy is, and I'll end this video by saying that this fight not only felt visually compelling, not only felt narratively compelling, not only felt character compelling, not only felt stylistic, cinematic. It had this vibe of like a main event. So it had this vibe of like, if the manga ended there, I think it would have just been a big release, a big moment where it just felt like it was that type of climactic moment, and it was awesome. And that's the type of stuff that you don't always get with every single shonen battle. Sometimes you get a shonen battle where they're trying to ramp it up, they're trying to hype it up like this main event moment, and sometimes it just doesn't hit. But Choso and Chihiro 100% hit. It just hit different, man. And it was so sick to see. It had me hooked. And the second time around reading it, I confirmed my thoughts on this particular series with Kagurabachi, where I was like, yeah, this right here, this is straight peak. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about it before moving on to the next arc of Kagurabachi and the following arc, because that's where we're going currently with the manga volumes. I wanted to bring up Choso and Chihiro because I don't think I talked enough about it, enough of how awesome it was. Also seeing the way that Choso was crashing out with the Cloud Gouger in his fight before Chihiro, the way that he leveled up there, and also Chihiro leveled up himself before they both collided. It was just the perfect setup for a final fight. Anyways, I could talk about it for for hours on end, but I'm gonna leave it there. You guys let me know what your thoughts are on this shonen manga, particularly Choso and Chihiro's battle, particularly Kagurabaki. And if you're reading it, are you collecting the volumes? Are you just reading it online? What are you doing with Kagurabaki? And also, are you excited for the future of this series? We already got, it doesn't even have an anime yet, and it's getting trading cards being publicized, which I may or may not have a booster box for that. I will keep that to myself and let you guys subscribe to the channel and find out for yourselves if I do open one of those. But for now, let me know your thoughts on that. Be sure to like this video. Every like helps get this channel to where I want it to be. I'm just trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and hopefully I can get there sooner rather than later. And yeah, I'm excited for more Kagurabaki content, and hopefully you guys are too. So without all that being said, I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video.